All right, so you wanted to dive deeper into AMLA and how it can affect cholesterol.
Yeah.
And we found some pretty cool research on it.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at a YouTube video from nutritionfacts.org called The Best Food for High Cholesterol.
Okay.
And it really dives deep into some studies on AMLA,
Cool.
this so-called Ayurvedic wonder.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how much modern science is really backing up a lot of this traditional wisdom.
Right.
Like Amla has been used in Ayurveda for centuries, and researchers are just starting to really uncover its potential.
Yeah. One of the things that really stood out to me was how powerful of an antioxidant Amla is.
Oh, yeah.
It's at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Even beating out blueberries and cloves.
Really?
What makes it so potent?
Well, it's not just the quantity of antioxidants that it has, it's
Yeah.
also the variety.
Right.
Like Amla has this really unique blend of polyphenols and tannins and vitamin C, all of which contribute to its antioxidant profile.
So they all work together.
Yeah.
They work together.
To fight those free radicals?
Exactly. They neutralize those harmful free radicals that can damage cells.
Right.
Which, can contribute to all sorts of chronic diseases like heart disease.
So it's like having this army of antioxidants
Yeah.
all working together to protect your cells.
That's a great way to put it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But how does that all tie back to cholesterol?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The research on Amla and cholesterol actually started with a study
Okay.
on its effects on blood sugar in people with type 2 diabetes.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading about that study.
Yeah.
They gave people just a tiny bit of Amla powder every day, and it seemed to really help with their blood sugar levels.
Exactly. And the key takeaway there is that high blood sugar can contribute to high cholesterol.
Oh, okay.
And particularly the harmful kind,
Such as-
LDL cholesterol.
Yeah, right. The bad cholesterol.
Yeah, the one that builds up in your artery.
Right, increasing your risk of heart disease.
So researchers thought, if Amla can help regulate blood sugar,
Yeah,
maybe it can also have a positive effect on cholesterol.
exactly. That was their thinking.
That makes sense.
And they were right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was this study with a group of healthy individuals,
Okay.
and they were given either a placebo or a small dose of Amla powder every day for 3 weeks.
Okay. And what were the results?
They were pretty remarkable.
So the Amla group saw a difference in their cholesterol.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't just a small change either.
Oh, wow.
The Amla group had a significant reduction in their total cholesterol
Okay.
and a big drop in their LDL cholesterol.
Wow. In just 3 weeks.
In just 3 weeks.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, that's a similar time frame to what you might see with statin drugs,
Which are?
the medications that are commonly prescribed to lower cholesterol.
So Amla basically did what a statin would do, but naturally?
Yeah. And there's another important thing to consider.
Okay.
Statin drugs can sometimes have side effects,
Right.
whereas Amla has a really long history of safe use in traditional medicine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Of course, it's always best to talk to your doctor before making any changes to your diet or treatment plan.
Right, of course.
But these findings definitely suggest that Amla could be a really valuable tool for managing cholesterol naturally.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning the cost-effectiveness of Amla, too.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking about a natural remedy
Yeah.
that's easy to find, and it's not expensive, especially compared to prescription medications.
Yeah, that's a huge factor for a lot of people.
Right.
Especially those who are looking for alternatives.
Okay, so we've talked about how Amla is a powerful antioxidant and how it can regulate blood sugar and lower cholesterol.
Yeah.
But the video also mentioned a study that compared Amla head-to-head with a statin drug called simvastatin.
Oh, yeah, that one.
I'm dying to know the results of that study.
Yeah, that study is really interesting because it directly compares, a natural remedy with a conventional pharmaceutical approach.
Right.
And the results could really change how we think about cholesterol management.
Okay, so we have to dive into that in the next part.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see if Amla really lives up to its reputation as a wonderberry.
Me too.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with part 2 of our Amla deep dive. Okay, so let's get back to that head-to-head study you mentioned.
Yeah.
The one where they compared Amla to the statin drug simvastatin.
Right.
So how did they actually do the study?
Well, they took a group of people with high cholesterol and split them into 2 groups.
Okay.
One group got the standard dose of simvastatin,
Which is how much?
20 milligrams daily.
Okay. And
Yeah.
the other group got the Amla.
Right. They got 500 milligrams of Amla powder twice a day.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of powder.
It is, but it's really just dried and ground up Amla fruit.
Oh, okay, so nothing fancy, just pure Amla.
Exactly.
Got it. And what happened next?
Well, they monitored both groups for 3 weeks
Okay.
and measured their cholesterol levels at the beginning and end of the study.
3 weeks doesn't seem like very long,
Yeah, it's not a super long time.
especially when you think about how long people take cholesterol medication.
Right, they often take them for years.
Yeah, so what were the results?
Well, the results were actually pretty impressive.
Okay.
Both groups saw big reductions in their total cholesterol,
Hmm.
their LDL cholesterol and their triglycerides.
Wow.
But here's the really interesting part.
Right.
The Amla group actually showed a greater improvement in their HDL cholesterol.
Wait, hold on. You're saying the Amla was better than the statin?
For HDL cholesterol, yes.
And HDL is the good cholesterol, right? The kind you want more of?
Yeah, because HDL helps remove the bad LDL cholesterol from your blood.
Oh, I see.
So having higher HDL is a good thing for your heart.
So the Amla not only lowered the bad cholesterol, but it boosted the good cholesterol even more than the statin.
Exactly. And there's another important thing they looked at in this study.
Okay.
Markers of liver function and muscle health.
Because statins can have negative effects in those areas.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What did they find?
Well, the simvastatin group did show some signs of potential liver stress,
Okay.
which, isn't uncommon with statin use,
Right?
but still something to be aware of.
Yeah, of course.
The Amla group, though, showed no adverse effects on either liver or muscle function.
So the Amla was just as good as the statin at lowering cholesterol,
Yeah,
but without the potential risks.
that's right.
Seems like a good argument for at least trying natural alternatives first.
Yeah, it definitely adds to the evidence that amla could be really helpful for managing cholesterol.
And don't forget, it also has all those antioxidants.
Right.
And it can regulate blood sugar, too.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's like this one little fruit has so many benefits.
But besides these studies, are there any other areas of Amla research that you're excited about?
Well, there's some early research looking into amla's potential for cancer prevention.
Really?
Yeah, it's still pretty preliminary.
Yeah.
But the idea is that amla's potent antioxidant properties could help protect cells from damage that can lead to cancer.
So it's not just heart health we're talking about.
Right, it could be about overall longevity and well-being.
And Amla, it's so safe and affordable.
Exactly. It could be a really powerful tool for preventive health.
This whole deep dive is making me want to add Amla to my diet.
Yeah, me too.
What are your final thoughts on Amla?
I think amla is a great example of how nature can really provide us with solutions to some of our biggest health challenges.
Right.
It's like a reminder that sometimes the simplest things are the most powerful.
That's a great way to put it. Now, before we wrap up, I remember there was something in the video about Amla ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
What was that all about?
That was a pretty unusual study.
I bet.
But they found that adding amla to ice cream actually increased its antioxidant capacity.
Really? So Amla ice cream is like the ultimate health food.
Well, not exactly. I wouldn't
Okay.
recommend eating a lot of amla ice cream.
Yeah, I get that probably can't negate all the sugar and fat.
Right. It's all about balance.
Right.
But I thought it was a fun example of how versatile amla is.
Yeah.
And how you can add it to different foods.
It's definitely an unexpected combination.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've explored Amla's ancient roots in Ayurveda,
Mm-hmm.
its amazing antioxidant content,
Yeah?
its ability to regulate blood sugar,
Right.
and its cholesterol-lowering powers,
Hmm.
which seem to be as good as statin drugs.
And we even touched on some early research on amla and cancer prevention.
Right. It really is a remarkable fruit.
It really is.
But wait, there's more.
Oh.
We have one final part to this episode
Okay.
where we'll cover a few more insights from the video
Right.
and talk about Amla's role in a holistic approach to health.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned for part 3 of our Amla deep dive.
All right.
All right, so welcome back to the final part of our Amla deep dive.
Yeah.
I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with this little fruit.
It's been a fascinating journey for sure.
You mentioned there are a few more interesting things from the video that we haven't talked about yet.
Oh, yeah.
What else stood out to you?
Well, one thing that caught my eye was the research on amla's potential to reduce methane emissions from cows.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Amla can help with climate change.
Well, potentially.
Okay, I need to hear more about this.
It might sound strange, but it's actually really interesting.
Okay,
So methane is a really potent greenhouse gas,
right.
and a lot of global methane emissions come from livestock,
Yeah, I've heard about that.
especially cows.
It's because of how they digest their food, right?
Exactly. The way cows digest their food produces methane in their stomachs,
Right.
which they then release into the atmosphere.
So burping cows are bad for the planet.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And so researchers are looking at whether adding amla to cow feed could change that process.
And reduce the amount of methane they produce. So Amla could be good for our health and good for the planet.
It seems that way.
This tiny fruit is like a superhero.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
It really shows how connected our health is to the environment.
Absolutely. What's good for us is often good for the planet, too.
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before we finish up this deep dive, I have to ask,
Yeah.
how do you see Amla fitting into a holistic approach to heart health?
Well, I think Amla has the potential to be a really important part of a heart-healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about its antioxidant properties,
Right.
its potential for managing blood sugar and cholesterol,
Right.
and there's even some evidence that it might help reduce inflammation.
Which is also bad for your heart.
Exactly.
And it's so easy to find.
Oh, yeah.
You can buy Amla powder online or at most health food stores.
Yep. And adding it to your diet is pretty simple.
Like how?
You can put a teaspoon in smoothies or yogurt, or even just mix it with water.
Easy enough.
Some people also like amla juice or pickled amla.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that at the store.
Yeah, you can usually find those in specialty stores.
So lots of different ways to try it.
Yeah, definitely. But it's always important to talk to your doctor
Of course.
before making any big changes to your diet or health routine.
Right, especially if you're taking any medications.
Exactly.
Well, I think we can officially call Amla a wonderberry.
Yeah, I agree.
We've gone from curious to totally convinced.
Me too. Amla is a perfect example of how nature can give us these powerful solutions for our health and well-being.
It reminds us to think outside the box.
Yeah, and explore what traditional medicine has to offer.
Well said.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to the end of our Amla and cholesterol deep dive.
Yeah.
Hopefully you found this exploration as interesting as we did.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Remember, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And now you have the information to make good choices about your own health.
That's right.
So until next time, stay curious
Keep learning.
and keep diving deep